What if I told you there's a book that breaks down exactly what the most successful people in the world do, step by step, so that anyone, no matter their background, can apply it and change the course of their life? Not theory, not hype, just a clear, practical formula for personal and financial success that's been tested for over a century. That's exactly what The Law of Success by Napoleon Hill delivers. Long before Think and Grow Rich, Hill spent 25 years interviewing the most powerful, wealthy, and influential people of his time, names like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Andrew Carnegie. And the result was this massive, powerful book, a detailed blueprint of the mindset, habits, and principles that turn ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Stick around, because in this video we're going deep into Hill's most essential lessons, covering the mindset, discipline, and character traits that lead to real, lasting success. Whether you're chasing financial freedom, personal mastery, or just want to stop feeling stuck, these ideas have the power to unlock doors you didn't even know were closed. Napoleon Hill wasn't born into wealth. He grew up in poverty, in rural Virginia, in the early 1900s. But he had an obsession with understanding what made certain people rise above their circumstances, while others stayed stuck. That curiosity led him to Andrew Carnegie, who gave him a challenge: spend the next 2 decades studying the most successful people in the world and uncover the principles behind their achievements. Hill accepted. He interviewed more than 500 of the most accomplished individuals of his time and boiled their strategies down into 16 core lessons. That became the Law of Success. This wasn't just a collection of quotes or motivation. It was a system, a guide to mastering yourself, your thinking, and your results. And the best part? Everything Hill teaches is trainable. It doesn't matter where you start. If you apply the laws, your life starts to change. Part 1. The 16 Principles. The Law of Success isn't just a book. It's a full-blown success system. Napoleon Hill didn't write it as a quick fix or motivational boost. He wrote it as a step-by-step formula for turning potential into power, dreams into results. And the most impressionante part? It's all based on observation, of real people, real habits, and real outcomes. After spending 25 years interviewing over 500 of the most accomplished people of his generation, Hill realized something powerful. Success isn't random. It follows patterns. Certain mindsets and behaviors consistently lead people to wealth, influence, and personal fulfillment. And so, instead of keeping that knowledge behind closed doors, he broke it down into 16 timeless lessons, the foundation of what he calls the Law of Success. These 16 principles aren't isolated tips. They work together. Think of them as building blocks. The more you apply, the stronger your foundation becomes. So let's go através delas uma a uma, com explicao pratica e clara pra você entender como cada uma pode transformar sua vida. Principle 1. Definite chief aim. Success starts with direction. Hill argues that having a clear, definite goal, a single burning desire, is the starting point for any meaningful achievement. Without a clear target, your energy is scattered. But when you know exactly what you want, your mind becomes focused, your actions become aligned, and your progress speeds up. It's not about vague dreams, it's about precise intention. Principle 2. Self-confidence. Hill saw that the most successful people believed in themselves before anyone else did. Confidence isn't arrogance, it's certainty. And it's built by repeating affirmations, visualizing success, and taking bold action despite fear. Confidence becomes a magnet for opportunities because people trust those who trust themselves. Principle 3. Initiative and leadership. Nothing moves without action. Hill teaches that leaders are those who take initiative without waiting for perfect conditions. They step forward when others hesitate. Leadership isn't about controlling others. It's about influencing through vision, character, and courage. Initiative separates the doers from the dreamers. Principle 4. Imagination. Every great achievement begins in the mind. Hill highlights that the most successful people visualize possibilities others don't see. They combine knowledge with creativity and dare to think differently. Imagination is what allows you to create something from nothing, and it's a skill that grows the more you use it. Principle 5. Action. Ideas are worthless without execution. Hill emphasizes that successful people are decisive. They act on ideas quickly, test them in the real world, and adjust along the way. Perfectionism kills progress. Action, imperfect and consistent, is what builds momentum and results. Principle 6. Enthusiasm. This is energy in motion. Enthusiasm is contagious. Hill shows how people who are genuinely excited about what they do attract support, attention, and resources. It fuels resilience and keeps you going when things get tough. If you don't feel it, you can generate it, and when you do, everything around you lifts. Principle 7. Self-control. Success demands discipline. Hill says that those who can't control their thoughts, emotions, habits, and reactions are at the mercy of their environment. Self-control creates power. It allows you to respond rather than react, stay calm under pressure, and remain focused on the long game. Principle 8. The habit of doing more than paid for. Hill calls this the QQS formula: quality, quantity, and spirit. Going the extra mile is one of the most underestimated success habits. It builds reputation, trust, and value. Over time, those who give more than they receive end up receiving far more than they ever expected. Principle 9. Attractive personality. Charisma isn't just natural, it's cultivated. Hill lists traits like kindness, positivity, courtesy, and authenticity as key factors that make people want to help and follow you. A likable personality opens doors that intelligence alone can't. Principle 10. Accurate thinking. This is about cutting through noise and focusing on facts. Hill teaches how to think clearly, question assumptions, and avoid being manipulated by emotions or other people's opinions. Accurate thinkers make better decisions, because they rely on reason, not just reaction. Principle 11. Concentration. Multitasking is a myth. The most successful people learn how to channel their energy into one task at a time. Concentration is about depth, not speed. When you go deep, you solve bigger problems, create better work, and move faster toward your goals. Principle 12. Persistence. This one's simple, but brutal. Most people quit too soon. Hill shows that persistence is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Obstacles aren't signs to stop, they're tests to see how bad you want it. Success goes to the one who refuses to give up. Principle 13. Failure. Hill reframes failure as feedback. Every setback contains a lesson, a redirection, or a hidden opportunity. The most successful people don't fear failure. They use it. They fail forward, extract the wisdom, and try again smarter. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Principle 14. Tolerance. A powerful, often overlooked principle. Hill believed that success in the long term requires working well with others, especially those who think differently. Intolerance creates friction. But those who stay open-minded build stronger teams, better networks, and more trust. Principle 15. Golden Rule. Do unto others. Integrity is non-negotiable. Hill insists that treating others with fairness, respect, and honesty isn't just moral, it's strategic. In the long run, the way you treat people always comes back around. Business, leadership, and life thrive on trust. Principle 16. Mastermind Alliance. You can't do it alone. The final principle is about building a group of like-minded people who challenge and support you. Hill called this a mastermind group, a circle of people aligned in purpose, sharing knowledge, and holding each other to higher standards. Together, you grow faster. Part 2. The essential lessons from the book. Let's start with the foundation. Definite chief aim. Hill doesn't say, have a goal. He says, make it your chief aim. That means one clear, focused, deeply personal goal that you're emotionally connected to. Most people fail not because they're not smart or talented, but because they're scattered. They're chasing 5 things at once, unclear about what they truly want. Hill teaches that once you define exactly what success looks like for you, and you write it down, visualize it, and think about it every single day, your mind starts finding ways to get there. He even recommends creating a personal statement and reading it aloud twice a day, morning and night. Why? Because repetition builds belief. And belief creates behavior. If your subconscious hears your goal with emotion and conviction every day, It begins adjusting your actions to align with that outcome. It's not about obsessing, it's about reprogramming your focus. You become a magnet for opportunities, ideas, and people that match your vision. But here's the mistake most people make: they don't commit. They treat their goals like vague wishes. It would be nice to make more money. I kind of want to start a business. That lack of clarity kills momentum. Hill says, define it, own it, burn the boats. Because once you do, your mind becomes a weapon, and that's when things start to move. Now let's talk about something equally important: self-confidence. According to Hill, confidence is not something you're born with, it's something you build. And the tool to build it is autosuggestion. That's the practice of feeding your mind with empowering thoughts over and over again until they become your new reality. Most people walk around repeating internal statements like, I'm not good enough, I'll probably fail, I don't have what it takes. And then they wonder why their results stay small. Hill flips that script. He encourages us to write out affirmations and speak them with conviction every single day. Not to lie to ourselves, but to reshape our self-image. He gives the example of a person who repeats, I am courageous. I am confident. I achieve what I set my mind to. At first, your brain resists. But over time, those words start to land. And when your inner voice changes, your outer behavior follows. The trap most people fall into is thinking confidence will come after they succeed. But Hill says no, it comes before. It's what gets you to take the first step, make the call, launch the idea. Confidence isn't the result. It's the requirement. And it's built through repetition, courage, and small daily wins. Another core principle that can completely shift someone's trajectory is the habit of doing more than paid for. On the surface, this sounds like working harder for less, but Hill saw it as the ultimate success strategy. When you go beyond what's expected, when you over-deliver with no immediate reward, you build something rare: reputation capital. People notice. Opportunities show up. Trust forms. And in the long run, that value comes back multiplied. He shares stories of employees who rose from assistants to partners simply because they consistently did more than they were asked. They brought energy. They anticipated needs. They showed up with excellence. And while others waited for recognition, these people created it. Hill calls this the QQS formula: quality, quantity, and spirit. Do excellent work, do more of it, and do it with a great attitude. That's what separates the average from the exceptional. The biggest mistake people make is thinking, they don't pay me enough to care. But the truth is, it's not about what they're paying you now, it's about who you're becoming in the process. Every time you go above and beyond, you're investing in your future. You're proving that you're the kind of person who brings value, and value always attracts more opportunity. Let's not forget persistence. Hill calls it the iron quality of success. And it's not glamorous. It's not flashy. But it's what gets you through the dips, the rejections, the slow months, the failures that make you question everything. Hill's insight here is simple but powerful. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They interpret resistance as a sign to stop, when in reality, it's just part of the journey. He compares persistence to mining for gold. There's a famous story he tells of a man who gave up digging 3 feet before hitting one of the richest gold veins ever discovered. The message? You don't stop because it's hard. You keep going because you believe. You keep swinging, adjusting, learning, until you strike. The people who win aren't always the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to quit. But here's where many get it wrong. They confuse persistence with stubbornness. Persistence means learning as you go, adapting without giving up the goal. Stubbornness is doing the same thing over and over, even when it's clearly not working. Hill's advice is to stay firm on the goal, but flexible on the strategy. That's how you keep moving forward without burning out. And finally, one of Hill's most underrated yet powerful lessons: the mastermind principle. He says that when 2 or more minds come together with harmony and a shared goal, a third, more powerful mind is formed, a mastermind. It's a form of collective intelligence that amplifies creativity, solves problems faster, and keeps each person accountable. This is more than networking. It's collaboration with purpose. Hill studied how the greatest innovators and leaders all had inner circles. Not yes men, but people who challenged them, inspired them, and pushed them to grow. He encourages us to find or form our own mastermind group, a small team of driven people who meet regularly, share knowledge, support each other, and grow together. Because success is never a solo act. And the right people around you can accelerate your growth more than any course, book, or strategy. Part 3. How to apply these ideas in real life. So, how do you actually apply the law of success in your everyday life? Because let's face it, reading about powerful principles is inspiring, but nothing changes until you put them into action. The beauty of Napoleon Hill's system is that it's practical. You don't need to be wealthy, famous, or have a huge network. You just need to start showing up differently. Start with the foundation. Definite chief aim. If you do nothing else, do this. Take time to write out your one big goal, the thing that matters most right now. Make it crystal clear. Not, I want more money, but I earn $10,000 a month doing work I love by specific date. Not, I want to be happy, but I wake up energized and fulfilled every day, living in alignment with my purpose. Clarity creates power. Write it down, read it every morning and night, and let it guide your decisions. Next, build your confidence muscle through repetition. Take 5 minutes every day to speak affirmations that align with the identity you're building. I am focused. I follow through. I learn from failure and keep moving forward. At first it might feel awkward, but remember, you're not lying to yourself. You're rewiring your subconscious. What you repeat consistently becomes what you believe. And what you believe shapes what you do. Also, shift your mindset around how you show up for others. Ask yourself daily, am I doing more than what's expected of me? Whether you're in a job, building a business, or just managing life, go the extra mile. Over-deliver. Be the person who adds value without always asking for something in return. That habit alone sets you apart. And over time, it builds a reputation that opens doors you never saw coming. Then, choose persistence over perfection. Make it a rule. No matter what happens, you don't quit on your goal. You adjust. You learn. You pivot. But you don't stop. Create a visual reminder of your commitment. Write it on your wall, use it as your phone wallpaper, whatever keeps it alive in front of you. Hill was clear. The ones who win are the ones who stay in the game long enough to outlast resistance. And finally, build your circle. Don't try to do this alone. Reach out to people who are also growing. Start or join a mastermind group, weekly check-ins, shared goals, open support. You don't need a dozen people. Even 2 or 3 committed minds working together can change everything. Accountability creates momentum. And growth becomes easier when you're not the only one pushing forward. Conclusion. At the end of the day, the law of success isn't just a collection of nice ideas. It's a manual for living intentionally. Napoleon Hill didn't just study success. He broke it down, mapped it out, and proved that it can be learned, practiced, and repeated by anyone who's willing to do the work. And that's the real message here. Success is not about luck, talent, or timing. It's about cause and effect. You think a certain way, you act a certain way, and you get a certain result. You build clarity, confidence, persistence, and discipline, and life starts responding differently. It's not overnight, but it's inevitable when you stay committed. So let me ask you, which of these 16 laws hit you the hardest today? Was it the power of a definite goal? The habit of going the extra mile? The idea of surrounding yourself with a mastermind? Drop it in the comments. I want to know what clicked for you and what you're ready to apply starting now. And hey, if this message spoke to you, do me a favor. Hit that like button, share this with someone who's ready to level up, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, where we don't just talk about growth, we live it. You're not here to drift. You're here to lead. Your mind is your greatest tool, and your habits are the engine. Now that you know the laws, use them. Build your vision. Back it with belief. And show the world what happens when someone stops wishing and starts deciding. If this inspired you, consider grabbing the full book through my Amazon affiliate link in the description and pinned comment and dive even deeper. Check out the final screens for more compact wisdom. See you next time.